Hello, I'm Keith Dyer, editor of the Mobile Network. We're here at Mobile World Congress 2026 with Stephen Patrick, who is CEO of CableFree. Stephen, it's a busy show and you're a busy part of it. You've got a lot of announcements, which we'll get through. First off, just tell us about CableFree, who you are, what you do.
Oh, thanks, Keith. Very good. So CableFree is a wireless manufacturer. We design and manufacture in the UK a complete range of wireless products, but most specifically 5G base stations. So we now have a complete range of small cell, macro, and other types of unique wireless base stations.
Okay, and your customers are mainly?
Well, we very deliberately focused on private networks to grow the customer base. We do also have some MNO customers, but the plan for our business was focus on the private networks first.
And so into that market, have you got some new products for us? What are you launching there?
Absolutely, so several new products today at Mobile World Congress. So this year we have things like the Smart Pack, which is a tactical pack which is person wearable, so you can take a 5G network anywhere in the world. It has integrated satellite backhaul using Starlink, so you can wear that pack, take it in the world. It is available in various different frequency bands, so we can work in the regulatory framework of almost any country in the world. And we think that's very important for disaster recovery, emergency services, public safety type applications.
And what's the performance of that? What once you've got the pack where you need it, what can you what use cases can you support there?
Very good. So it's a full Geno B and Eno B, so it can support 4G and 5G simultaneously on 2 frequency bands. And so although the world is moving to 5G, main devices are still only 4G capable. So the fact it can do both is a great advantage. In terms of capacity, it can do more than a gigabit per second aggregate. Usually you're limited by the satellite backhaul. That's going to be the limiting factor. But sometimes these technical bubbles are literally a bubble, so everything might be locally and contained. For example, for law enforcement, sometimes there is no backhaul. It's all done within the bubble.
What's next then?
Very good. So marching onwards, we also have a blade server. So many people use a baseband unit, a BBU, for their applications. And so the blade server means we can bring together the BBU, our management system and NMS and the core in a tightly packaged format. So rather than having huge racks of servers from the usual server vendors, we've built a telco grade that can be powered by AC or DC power. It's compact, it's scalable, and it's also pay as you grow. So you can start with a very sparse site with just one blade and grow that. Also in this AI world, and we should always mention AI this year, you can run AI inferencing on the same platform. And the reason that's significant is latency is a key thing. So you can have your latency the lowest possible between the AI inferencing and the baseband unit. So the connection to your robotic devices or flying drones can be the lowest possible.
So likely customers for that kind of integrated solution would be?
Well, we think certainly the alternative operators, people who are going to start with a sparse network and then grow it. As their user capacity and user numbers grow, they can add more blades to the BBU. That's certainly an obvious case. We do think the industrial users, particularly with large fleets of robotic drones, aerial drones, factory environments with robots in factories, those are probably the prime use cases for the Blade BBU.
In terms of the deployment environment, ease of use, deployability, that seems to have been a blocker for sort of enterprise adoption of private networks. Do you see this solution as sort of playing into that, making things more easy to deploy? Or?
Absolutely. So as the key factor is 5G is approximately 10 times more complex than Wi-Fi. So to an enterprise user that's used to manage Wi-Fi, introducing something to the network which is 10 times more complex is quite problematic. So for us as a vendor, streamlining that process, making sure everything is factory pre-configured, that the way you manage and operate the service is easy to use, and in fact mentioning one of our other new products, making sure we've got management apps on our phones as well as the desktop one, so you can pull out your Android phone and see exactly what your 5G RAN is doing. It will give an IT manager great confidence that their RAN is performing well and address any issues and bottlenecks very quickly in real time. So giving enterprise managers convenient, easy-to-use tools is a key part of that process.
Okay, so we've got the backpack, we've got the blade server. What else have we got?
Well, Femtocells. So one of the strong predictions with 5G is rather than 5G base stations being big and complex and expensive, what happens if you want one in your home office or your garden office and you're in the middle of nowhere, you're in a beautiful country location and there's no network. So be able to have femtocells which can deliver high capacity, plug into a regular broadband and light up with 1 or 2 carriers, maybe simultaneous 4G and 5G, who knows, but being able to do that in a cost-effective, compact platform. So we've innovated very strongly. We have now buy-in from the major chip vendors that they want to do that. They think it's strategic, and they see us as a good partner to deliver that. So that's an exciting platform which we're launching now again at the show.
Okay, and how do you get those to market in that environment?
This is an excellent question for all vendors. So predominantly we use an integrator model. So often the projects are implemented by integrators, and these are global. So for example, we have customers in 95 countries around the world, and in very diverse environments and very diverse market sectors. So making sure our products and the knowledge about those products is disseminated widely to our integration partners means that we can address the global user base very effectively and very quickly.
Great, and we touched a little bit earlier about the ease of management, and you mentioned AI, and there's something there as well.
Yeah, so we're taking a slightly different play on AI. Some of the big vendors are absolutely convinced that we're going to have some AI ran. We actually think slightly differently. We think most of these enterprise customers are going to be using small cells, and because they're complex to configure, we decide the best place for AI is to manage and optimize that process. So if you deploy a network of say 20 or 30 small cells, the idea of manually tweaking all the parameters is not great. So having an AI agent that can look at the network performance, gain from its knowledge of maybe other deployments that the vendor's also done, and then be able to finely tune parameters all around the site, looking at user patterns, device patterns, coverage black spots, congestion patterns, and optimizing the RAN to give the finest performance. And rather than doing that automatically, we thought the best role for AI was to be a supervisor. It would make suggestions saying, we think we should do that, yes or no. So it can be almost like the expert over your shoulder, giving you advice, rather than just taking control of the RAN, which might be quite a scary proposition for a number of users. So we thought that bringing the AI in usefully as the expert, again, would further the rise of private 5G.